Good morning, friends. Welcome back to my channel. It's Belinda here. I'm going to do Roxy's weekly challenge today. Whatever week we're up to, I've completely lost track. But it was an idea that Rachel got from her daughter Lulu, and I thought it looked really fun. I really liked the results of what Rachel made, so we're going to do that today. And it is bookmarks that hang over the page. So actually quite simple, but I think really effective and very usable. So I have pre-cut some strips of scrapbook paper here. I've gone with one that I probably wouldn't use necessarily. It's got a kind of a paisley type design on one side, and then on the other it's got this textured brown. So I'm going to make the decorative side the inside and the plain side the outside, and we're going to decorate the outside. So my strips are 2.5 inches wide, apart from the bit at the end that was whatever it ended up as, 2 inches basically. Mine may be a bit narrow. I can't remember how wide Rachel made hers. But I just kind of like set my guillotine at 2.5 inches and just went chop, chop, chop. You know, it doesn't really matter, whatever suits you. I'm going to use the whole 12 inches. I don't actually know that this paper is true 12 inches. I suspect it's not. No, it's not. It's only 11.5. But, you know, if you're using a full 12, you can still make that work. Excuse me. I've gone a bit throaty. I just had a wee snack before I turned the camera on, and I just think it's kind of sitting in my throat a little bit. Right, I have just my typical journal page size here, and I want it to come fairly well down my page. So I'm going to fold it about there. Maybe if I make a little mark. This isn't super thick paper, so I'm not going to score it. I'm just going to fold it. Oh, there's my mark. We will try and fold it straight though. Might be a good idea. We can but try. Right, give it a nice press. Now I'm just going to rub out my little pencil mark there. So today I'm going with all the same. I'm not playing around with different papers or anything. I thought, no, I'm just going to kind of mass make them all the same. The decorating might be different, but the first couple of steps are going to be all the same because they're going to go in different journals, and I can always accessorize them to suit. So I'm just using my first one to kind of gauge where I'm going to fold. They will be slightly different, but just, you know, just as a rough idea, it doesn't matter. So I'm going to do all the folding. Yeah, me and mass making, eh? Not something I excel at. But that's all good. No, that one doesn't seem to be straight, but that's all right. Okay, 2 more to do, I think. So we're already off and racing in July. How's that? Who's doing Junk Journal July this year? I've ummed and ahed. I've been backwards and forwards. I want to do it. I just don't think I'm in a position to do it, if that makes sense. I just really struggling on the journal front, on, you know, doing my personal journaling. It's totally fallen over. And I'm trying to be at peace with that, and every now and then it really gets to me. It's like, but I want to be doing it, but I just keep failing because I just haven't got time. And obviously it's not a priority in my life, otherwise I would be making that time. And so I've ummed and ahed over whether I do Junk Journal July, thinking, you know, will it get me back into that habit? Will it re-enthuse me, rejuvenate me? And obviously I've spent so much time thinking about it and worrying about it and trying to see how I can make it work. I've kind of come to the conclusion it's not going to work. It's not the right time for me to be trying to jump back into it. So I'm disappointed, but I'm also relieved to have come to that point where I've just got to let it go. Let it be. Okay. Rachel did decorative punching. I have also grabbed out one and some fancy scissors, but I'm not ready for that stage yet. So put it away, dear. Put it away. Okay, this I did not fold straight, or something's not straight. Okay, actually I don't need to trim it. It's going to be the other side of the page. It's not, it's going to be fine. Okay, I have this calendar page. It's a beautiful, beautiful image from 2008. But how would I use it? I could use it as a page in a journal, but I have other pages from the same calendar. And I thought, why don't we use it to decorate up our tag? Now, perhaps I should have kept out my guillotine, but I didn't. So I'm just going to tear it with my ruler. Maybe we should try lining it up on the grid so I get it. That's not going to work because it's too tall. So we're just going to eyeball it. We're going to wing it. It will be fine, I'm sure. Ish. Okay, let's just do it. Beautiful image of ranunculus. Really lovely. Now, can I use this? It's very shiny. I don't think I'd stamp on it because the ink's not going to dry, so I'm going to bit it. I've got enough white strips of copy paper. Right, so I want this to be not as wide as my base. So I'm going to, again, eyeball to maybe there. And I'm going to do a bit of fussy cutting. Not all of them are going to involve fussy cutting, but this one I want to fussy cut. Just because it's got this edge of the bouquet or posy of ranunculus. And I thought it would look really cute if we had that cut out edge rather than just a rectangle with all the white. So bear with me as I cut this out. It's not terribly complicated. Not a lot of different bits on it to get around, just a few. So I thought this idea looked really fun and cute, and a piece of ephemera that just tucks over any page so it can be moved through the journal like a bookmark. It could even be removed and put into a reading book if the owner wanted to, and use it as a bookmark. And lots of ways you can customize it too. And I was like, do I do some of those customizations? Rachel didn't. She just did the main event, so to speak. But I was having some ideas on customizations and like, no, let's just do the base. At least start there anyway. Because, you know, it's a good place to start with just the normal straightforward idea, and then you can springboard from there, or I could springboard from there if I have time or the desire to. Right, so we're almost there, guys. It's very shiny, so I hope you can see okay. Not too much glare on from the lights. Okay. I'm trying to think where I want it. If I took it right up to there, then I could have the flower wrapping over the other side, couldn't I? That sounds like a good idea. So I'm just going to take a little bit of white out here and then trim around the top. Almost there, and we're done. Pick up the little fragments. So I'm going to put this part right to the bottom and right down that edge, and it's going to fold over and have a little bit on the other side like so. But do I want to layer it up with maybe a bit of book page? I just grabbed out these, but it's is an amoeba, a internal siliceous skeleton of something. I don't know that I would ever use them on a bit of ephemera, but they're actually really cool. So I'm just going to pop that one aside. Right, and grab out this instead. Sound of tearing paper, isn't it wonderful? Oops, that's not my rubbish bottle. Right, just gonna tear off this white space to get down to the text. That's a bit mucky, so I'm not going to bother saving that bit either. Now do I want, don't think I want it full all the way. I don't think I want it right on the edge actually either. And do I want this right on the edge? I don't think I do. I want to leave a bit of the brown showing. So let's kind of give it a funny, more interesting, I don't mean funny, I mean a more interesting edge on it. It's not quite so straight, even though I did tear it with a ruler. Just more personality, that's what we're going for. More personality. So that there. That there with a little bit of a border around it. Do I want to ink this? I think I do. Just ink around it. Just to seat it in a little bit more. It's relatively white. It's not bright white, it's more of an off-white, but it's, you know, it still feels a little stark. I'm wondering whether I should go over it with the old paper distress ink. Just a little bit more subtle than the vintage photo, or a lot more subtle actually. But to give it a little more age, that's just gentler. So there's that. I'm going to give it a go because, you know, I haven't tried it before. Just switch out my, I'm not sure that that's the same colour, but it'll be close enough. Right, and my very colourful drop sheet. This is pretty much done. I need to just put it in my collage folder now and grab out a new one, but anyway I haven't. So yeah, this is just giving it a little bit more something, taking away that starkness, but in a very gentle, soft way. Not a like, hello, I'm vintage photoed kind of style. It's just more, yeah, I really like that. That worked well. Okay, let's glue that down. I don't know if you can see the difference. See the difference in the colour? Yeah, like it. Worked a treat. So that's old, what is it? Old paper distress ink. I was like, is it old paper or is it called antique paper? No, it's called old paper. Okay, go about there-ish. And I am just going to give this a little vintage photo treatment because it's got a white edge from tearing on the ruler. It's left a bit of white jaggy stuff, so I'm just going to give it a bit of colour so it's not so obvious, like so. This, excuse me, that frogginess is still hanging around. This, because it's shiny, I'm going to go ahead and use tacky glue on it. And I need to remember I'm going to wrap it around the top. Oh, actually, before I stick it on, do I want to put any book page on this part? Possibly do. Let's think about that because it needs to go under the flower that wraps around the top. It's a bit tall. Still a bit tall. Okay, let's do the same thing. Vintage photo around the edge and then the old paper on the surface. Don't know how many of these I'm actually going to get made, my friends. Possibly not too many. We'll just see how we go. Right. Bring back my very colourful piece of paper here, which is also a bit off of a calendar. Right. Yeah, time to grab a new piece, definitely. Okay. Glue stick for this part is fine. I was going to put it over the other side, but I prefer the shape going on this side, so that's where it's going. Okay, now we can glue on our flowers. So this is an idea too for those large images that you're not sure how to use, whether it be a book page image or a calendar image. You can just take a strip of it, and often, depending what's on the picture of course, it can look super pretty and effective. I did think about fussy cutting out some of the flowers on this picture, but a lot of them are partials. There's not many whole flowers that show, and I thought, no, actually I think this will suit this type of project quite nicely. Right, so put it about there will do. It's there now, and that's where it's going to stay. So our flower will wrap around at the top, so I'm not going to fold it up yet because it's going to go or will it go funky? It's not on the inside, it's on the outside. It actually will probably be okay to fold it now, so I'm going to. If it turns to custard, well, so be it. But yeah, when you fold something when the glue's wet and it's on the inside, it will bunch and buckle. But this is on the outside, so I think it should be absolutely fine. Oh, it's pretty. I love that. Right, thinking some sort of label or something, but I am going to try the decorative edge here. Now, I'm not super amazing with these punches. They are quite challenging, but I'm going to give it a go. And I think the trick was to start in the middle-ish. I'm going to line it up on one of the lines there. And start with that. And then I can slide it along, match it up, hopefully get it straight. And then we've got all the fragments. Okay, do make sure if you're doing this to wait till the glue's dry, because there's a world of hurt if your glue is wet. You'll end up with munched paper and things tearing, and yeah, not happy campers. Right, ink, edge, and I'm going to do the other side as well. Rachel tried doing it at the top here, and it didn't work because the glue was wet. And I'm not going to try that even if the glue is dry, because I just think it's a bit thick and it's hard enough to get through just that layer rather than getting through, you know, double thickness of all those layers. So I'm not even going to go there. I'm going to leave that one well and truly alone and save myself, you know, ruining the piece or getting frustrated or hurting myself because I'm pushing so hard or breaking the punch or, you know, any of those scenarios. So I'm not going to do that, but I do like that very cute finish there. Right, I'll punch this and then I'll ink around it. So that seemed to work okay, lining it up on that line, so we'll do that again. Oh, yes. Wrong line. Now I've got to do both ends to get them all the way punched. Where are we? Where are we? Where are we? Can't see. I need to bring it closer. Maybe I'll do this end first because I can see it a bit better. Oops. That one, and turn it around so I can see again. It's just the way the light's hitting it with the grey pattern. It was in shadow and I couldn't actually tell if it was lined up properly. Oh, it's not even in there. Let's move it across a bit. So it's actually under the punch. Would be a really handy idea. There we go. Again, get rid of all the shrapnel. Oh, it's everywhere. Okay, now let's ink. Always so delicate, those punched edges. They kind of freak me out a little bit because they look like they're just going to tear off, but it does look pretty. I guess at the end of the day, if it becomes a problem for the user of the journal, it could just be snipped across and cut off if it, you know, gets damaged or something. Right, I'm going to snip these corners. I am going to take the time to match up the angle there. Not entirely necessary, but I just think I'd prefer that. Tiny little bit to hold on to, so I can't hold it there and cut it because there's not enough room. Likely to cut my thumb off. So I kind of ended up eyeballing it a bit. Did I ink that edge? It doesn't look very inky. Let's go in a bit heavier. And then on the side. Okay, so that's the base construction. That's decorated, but I'm now thinking about a word or a label or something of that sort. Let's test it on our page. I'm just going to use the double page there. So we need to glue it so that it sticks up the top like a tab, you know, because if you put a bookmark in your book, you can't find where you are in the book unless it's sticking up. So we need to glue it so that it sticks up a bit at the top. I'm going to glue basically where I've got that tab shape. Tab shape? I mean tag shape. Tag top. Okay, so I'm going to put our glue in there. Can come down a bit lower. Oops, seepage happening there. Lots of seepage. Obviously put a bit too much glue. Oh, it's not going to come loose, is it? If I put too much glue. Just got to do a bit of cleanup on my mat there. Okay, so I'm not going to put that over top of my page at the moment because that glue, you know, I could end up gluing it onto my page if I tried to put it on my page. Right, I'm thinking some sort of maybe label. Do I want label or word? Let's try a little label. Labels from Days Gone By the Junk Journal Studio is what I've got in here. And there's from the original one and from volume 2 as well. Feels like it might be a little bit big. It's kind of cute, but I'm not. I like that one. Maybe it's colour that's doing it for me. I like it right there too. And there we go. So we've got one done. How are we going on time? Continually amazes me that I make one and we're already halfway through our time. Excuse me. That frogginess is really annoying. So that'll sit about there on the page, and we'll have, I'm just going to loosely sit it on there. I'm not going to push it all the way up, so it will sit down a little bit further. So it's a bookmark, functions as a bookmark, and on this side, that's where it hinges over the page, or it sits over the page. But then here we also have writing space, so you could do a bit of journaling here, and that's why I wanted the decorative side on the inside, so that when we take it off the page, you've still got something happening, and yet it's still writable. So that was my thinking. Oh, do we want to put something here? We could perhaps put this one. Or do we want something a bit larger? This one's got a bit bent up. I found it under my wheels on my chair one day. And it's like, gee, that got a bit bent up. I like that there. Let's glue it down. Once it's glued down, all those wrinkles will be fine. And they just add character, don't they? Actually, should I ink them and make them stand out even more? It's like, yes, I got beaten up under Belinda's chair. She really treated me roughly. I've got some true age and distressing happening. Let's play with that. Let's just ink those. This for fun. And you could do this deliberately. Absolutely do it deliberately. It's a fun thing to do with your labels or whatever. No, it might not be a label, might be something else. And then we've got one that goes this way. Just play with it, just make it a thing. Isn't that fun? Doesn't it? Just like, it's a great label. It's a beautiful label on its own, but just adding in those little crease, or inking the little creases, just gives it a little point of difference, a little individuality. And it's also got, looks like a bit of coffee stain there. Must have also dripped some coffee or tea on it while it was running around under my chair. Don't know how that happened. Although we do get drinks slopped because we've got cats that decide to jump places they shouldn't, and often send things either knocked, like drinks that spill, or actually even end up on the floor because they just, you know, they're just trying to get to where they're going and not thinking about what they're actually going to send flying in the process. And they all do it, all three of them. They all do it to varying degrees. Right, cool. So we've now got decoration on that side as well. I like that because it did need something there. So as I was saying, yes, that's why I did this decorative side on the inside. So it's not plain, but it is writable. And we can probably, that glue should be dry now. Okay, the glue has seeped, like it's pushed further down than what I had it, and that's okay. So it's going to sit about there on the page, which is wonderful. You could also tuck something under it if you wanted, like a journal card, you know, use it as a tuck spot, but I probably wouldn't, because it is made to be removable, so you can move it through your journal. Like, this is today's entry, you do today's entry, move it to tomorrow, and then when you come to do tomorrow's journaling, it's all, you know where your page is. So, super cool. I love how that turned out. Okay, let's do another one. I'm sure we can fit in another one. Right, about this one, we're going to just use the same flowers, but this time we're not going to, or are we? Let's just tear the strip and then think about whether we're going to end up fussy cutting or not. So again, I'm leaving that bit of border of the brown paper around it. I think I might do the ends fussy cut, just because I can't do that very vivid shiny white. I thought it would be fine. I thought, yeah, no, I can do that, it'll look cool, but I just can't do it, particularly with the brown, the orangey brown base. It's just like, no, it's too in your face, too out there, and too domineering. Like, it takes your eye straight away, that bright white. Right, I covered over my rubbish bin, and that's a dumb idea, so let's uncover it. Yeah, and I think I'll do this end as well. So just a little bit of fussy cutting on this one. And no book page, I don't think, unless I put it over top, which, you know, is a possibility. We could. Just depends what we think of the look. And then maybe a label or a word or something. Now there is just a tiny little bud poking up behind that ranunculus, but I think it looks a bit silly in isolation, so I'm going to cut it off. And here, where there's a bit more white space, I'll leave that bit of leaf that's kind of tucked in behind, but I'm going to take out that little bit of white there. Okay, so there's no white left on it, apart from the edges, particularly where I've torn on this edge. But I'm going to do both edges because I want them to, they're both torn, so I'm just going to ink both. And I'm also going to ink the cut edge, just because if we're doing both sides, we might as well do everywhere. Right, and this is where it really counts, is just taking away that white edge there. Must be getting close to lunchtime, I think. Starting to get hungry. Right, so that's going to go about there. We do have a little bit of the brown poking out here, and that is fine. Don't have an issue with that. Do we want to put it up higher? We could put it up higher. And just put like a label or something under there. Does that... Yeah, okay, let's do it up a bit higher, just because. I'm going to fold it there. And where's my glue? So I'm going to do this side first and just put glue here. And hopefully this is a good idea, because I want it to be straight and even border on the two sides. So I'm thinking, should I have started on the larger side where it's probably more important? Oops, bit of glue seepage. I think because this paper is shiny, the glue is spreading more, and that's yeah, a bit interesting. Right, so maybe I want to go not quite so close to the edge, because by the time I press it out, it's going to spread on that shiny surface. But I don't want edges that aren't glued down properly either, so I don't know. Don't know which way is the best. Still a bit of seepage, but not so bad, not as bad seepage, and I think we've got the edges glued down, so putting that glue slightly further in from the edge helps. Okay, so on this one, do we want to punch? I think I might just use the decorative scissors because we've done the punch, so let's try something else. Do we want scallop, or that kind of more decorative scallop, I guess? Jigsaw, jiggy jaggy, it's kind of fun. Zigzag, gentler scallop, or angled. I think this one. Gonna go this one. And I'm just lining up this outer edge of the scissors with the end of the paper, and that's going to help me keep it straightish. Oh, come on, get in there. There we go. Pretty good on the straight. And same on this side. And then it will look even better when it's inked. A bit more ink on my brush, I think. I probably should do this part here where it shows on the back, but I'm not super worried about it actually, because it's not like it's white or anything. So I think I'll probably leave it as is. And if I do it, I'll do it off camera. How's that? If it was white on the back, I definitely would ink that. Okay. Super pretty. I love it. Right, label of something. Thinking about a larger label. So this is from the same kit. This is volume 2 in here of the labels from days gone by. I've just got the little ones in that plastic tray, because otherwise they get, you know, too hard to pull out of these types of things, because they're teeny tiny, and I love them because they're teeny tiny, but difficult to grab out of these photo album things. Stuck there. Actually, that should be in the teeny tiny one, so moving that one. No, maybe I do want a teeny tiny, or maybe I just need a label across this way. One, do we want something a bit bolder? I actually quite like it up there, but I'm not convinced I've got the right option yet. No. Nope. The hunt continues. Contents, that's kind of fun. I'm going to go with that one, or the slightly smaller version. Smaller version, I think. Okay, let's go with that one. I won't put those away yet because I probably want something for the other side. Oh my goodness. Oh dear, that was just the most monumental yawn. I had a bad night a couple of nights ago, where I was awake for 4 hours in the middle of the night. 4 hours, so that means I only had about 4 hours of sleep. And I felt not too bad the next day, and then yesterday I felt not too bad. I think and last night I had maybe half an hour awake in the middle of the night, so not too bad, but I think that added on top of the previous night from a couple of nights ago, it's starting to get to me a little bit. Okay, let's do we want to round the corners on this one? Why not? Let's round them instead of the angle, just for something different. Okay, I feel like I still need something down here. Maybe like a postage stamp. Could be quite cute. I need it in the right colours. Here's a green one. Not the right colour, I don't think. It's got green in it, but it's an Emerald Lake from Mount Tongariro. Don't want that blue because there's no blue there. There's a church in the background of that one. That actually might work okay. Do I want it on the backing, off the backing? It doesn't look like it's going to easily come off. Oh, maybe it will. It's still sticky. It's really sticky. Don't want to rip it. Okay, I just ripped the backing, which is fine. I quite often leave the backing on because I like that look, but in this one I think I just don't want to take too much away from the flowers. Yeah, I am going to put more glue on it, even though it is sticky, because it's just got a few little scraps of the backing paper, the envelope, still attached. And where they are still attached, it's not sticky. So there we go, just a little bit of glue. Oops, I should have inked it. I meant to actually ink it. I was intending on inking it and forgot. Can we just go in here and kind of get the edge a little bit? Might work okay. Oops, that side's not sticking. Stick down. Yeah, it worked well enough. I think that's fine. Just takes away from that white a little bit. Cute. Right, now we need to glue this. Oh, do we want something on this side? Thinking something different orientation. Whoops, upside down. Let's turn it the right side up. Maybe smaller ones of those, maybe. Oh, here's a fun one with numbers on. What will that look? Oops. Yeah, I like that. That's cute. And I want a postage stamp on this side. Or would I prefer a word? I'm thinking a word actually. Word could be quite nice because we got numbers on the label. So maybe a word would be good. And I think I will turn to the words from Spring Bounty from the Junk Journal Studio. And then I think we will be done. Right. So what colour? Thinking either pink or white. Don't want it terribly long. No, pink's not the right colour. What about green? This is not the right word, but maybe we want to go white. So let's find white. Too big. These words come in multiple sizes, which is so very handy. Don't want purple for this project. I think I need to separate these out. Yes, I know, Lisa, you suggested a way of doing that. I haven't done anything about it, as you can tell. They're still all in together. And I actually need to remember what you suggested, because your idea was a good one. I just haven't got there. That's quite nice. I like that, but I'm going to trim it down a little bit. Closer into the word. I feel like it takes up a little bit too much real estate. And then just a little smidge off the top and bottom. A dog going to town a couple of doors away. Back, 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 back. Maybe up there. Okay, and I'm going to ink it. Of course I am going to ink it. Do I want to old paper it? Or just vintage photo? Let's just go vintage photo. Yep, that's absolutely fine. I was thinking about doing the surface, but no, it's fine as it is, just with that edge. Okay. Lovely. Ah, don't put the glue away yet. I need to glue this shut. So let's put some glue inside here. And press it down to glue it together. Okay, I will also ink around, will I? No, I've already done it. It's quite subtle. It's not really a heavy inking. So for a moment there I was like, oh, I need to ink it. Oh, no, I've already done it. Right, just pop those away. And grab out my other one. Oh, whoops, missed a word. Pop these away. Just do a bit of tidy up here before we have a look at what we did. Which side were they in? I guess it doesn't matter too much. They're kind of in size and shape order, but they get a bit muddled at times. And that's okay. Right, I'm clearing the decks. I'm getting there, my friends. I want to clear deck so you can actually see what we did. So here's my page, and here's this one, our bookmark. Super cute. So with our decorative punched edge and punched edge on that side, and then we've got our writing space on the back of the bookmark, and then this one, which the glue is probably still a bit wet, so I'm not going to push it right down to where it will sit. So just got a bit of glue showing there, which is really bugging me now. It's alright, I can put a little something over top of that and that will hide that. And that's that one. So using the same materials for both of them, but they're both quite different. Put them side by side on the page. I think they are really lovely. I'll be making more of these for sure if I can remember the idea as I go through this journaling journey. Super cute. And just because we treated them slightly differently according to where they were on the page, they've got a different look. And then I've still got enough for at least one more anyway. Maybe I can do something with a little bit left over. Don't know. We'll have to wait and see on whether I've got enough left over to make something with. But I love that. So the Roxy's weekly challenge, the bookmarks that were inspired by her daughter, Lulu. And then the idea of using these calendar pages or large book pages that you might not know how else to use because they're too pretty to throw away, but then how do you use them in a journal? Well, maybe something like this will be the answer. So thanks for joining me today. I hope you enjoyed it. Have a great afternoon or evening or morning, depending what time of day you're at, and I'll be back tomorrow with another video. I hope you can join me then, and yeah, I will see you then. Bye for now.